Hello, my name is Frances Fox. I'm a government trained remote viewer as part of a secret program looking for, supposedly, human potentials and an augmentation in intelligence, uh, superpowers, psychic abilities, interspecies communication. I understand that there was a group of us that were called space babies, so it might be appropriate to kind of look into that. Anyway, I'm here, totally aligned with my mission, and being in that disgraceful program set me up for this mission that I'm very pleased with. And it's kind of interesting that apparently, if you're really aligned with your mission and you're doing what you're doing with an intention to help humanity, you get an awful lot of protection. Because I have to say that it's shocking that I've been allowed, after so many years of not being able to say a word, that I've been allowed to say so much. And I'm still here. Let's start out with not the map of the United States, but an earthquake that happened today at some point, I believe it was, and its epicenter was New Harbor, Maine. And it was 3 point something, not that big, but apparently big for that region. I think the last time there was an earthquake there, it was right off the coast. It was like 1940. I'm not sure of any of that. I looked it up very quickly because the point I want to make to you is that several months ago or a year ago, there was an earthquake in the New York area. And so I asked a friend of mine to help me to find out who that was important lived there. And we were able to find the person that's real important in national and international news. And then I said, okay, this is this date that we had the earthquake. What happened politically that this person would have been in a rage about around that time? And we found exactly what would have put that person over the edge because that person is not used to having anybody call them on anything, much less the court system. I believe that they had received some kind of a lawsuit or something, and I don't remember the details, but you see, I don't need to remember the details. If you want to find out how, on a country level or planetary level, we can break and get sick, which would be the earthquake, and it will help you to figure out what broke you that you got cancer, then do this little piece of homework. Look up New Harbor, Maine. You got the date. I think it was today. I don't think it was yesterday. I think it was today. And then look and see who lives close to there that would have been triggered by something god awful in their life. And you will have found the person or the group that's responsible for being so angry, but not really being able to express it, that they created an earthquake. Remember that after 9/11, and I put this on my website, I talked about it on Univision National TV at that time. After 9/11, on 9/20, I went into a panic attack. And I finally settled myself down and I said, this doesn't feel like my stuff. So I got quiet, whatever. And what I understood was that my connection to the planet, to Earth, was being triggered because there was a new fault line forming under New York City, from New York City to England. And I was like, wow, what do I do with this? And the rest of the information was that after 9/11, everybody went into compassion mode and help mode. And they helped and they did, and da, da, da. Nobody went into their rage mode except for the politicians within several days later. But the people there in New York, which is where the epicenter of the earthquake happened 6.5 weeks after 9/20, they didn't go into rage. They were just into helping. So here's a sequence: 9/11. The people in New York City, in that area, did not express their rage. They repressed it. That goes into Mother Earth. Okay, it also goes into your body, goes into Mother Earth. 9 days later, I get a panic attack because there is a new fault line forming under New York City. Okay, at that point, I said on my website and on the news, I said there's a possibility of 4.5 to 6 weeks after this 920 fault line that there'd be an earthquake in New York City. Well, there were no earthquakes in New York City. October 20th, there was an earthquake in New York City, epicenter New York City. Okay, then I went back and I said, okay, are there any other earthquakes? Yes, there was. 2001, 6 weeks after the results of the elections that have had half the country in a rage. New York City was Democratic and they took the elections from Gore. And 6 weeks later, there was an earthquake. And then 2001. So we had an earthquake several months ago, a year ago, and we located the person who had gotten news, some kind of a court thing, earthquake. Now we have one. Look it up. I'm not going to look up who the person is. I don't need to. You need to start seeing the connection, the causal between natural catastrophes and human behavior, especially the fire element being repressed, which means rage, frustration, hatred. That repressed, not processed through the mantras, the way we teach, but just simply the old, I got discipline and being emotional is a waste of time. Actually, it's a contribution to the health of your body and it's a contribution to your country. So look it up. You may find it interesting. And I suspect you will be able to find. So it's not just an important person, it has to be somebody that's powerful or a group that got something that would have put them in a rage, such as everybody in New York after 9/11. They didn't go into a rage. It was the politicians in Washington that decided to pass all these laws so that that would never happen again. But the people in New York never, I don't think they ever expressed their rage. Next, let's go into gossip. My mail, weird. I'm getting a piece here, a piece there that has that label stamped on it, that yellow one forwarding. I get some companies that are emailing me, this is your new address. How did they get that? I didn't give it to them. Somebody gave it to them. Okay, no problem. I'm still not getting anything important. Since August, I believe, the 22nd. Federal mail, totally tampered with. Just giving you an update. So I had something very another gossip. So the Cuban mafia, Cuban political mafia, has that technique that we call the mantrista telegram, where you send somebody like a little jackhammer or machine gun, and you send them a word or a statement to help them or to harm them. When somebody is kind of like suicidal, you can use that telegram, and in your head, you direct it to the person. Even though I'm sad, even though I'm sad, even though I'm sad, so that rather than just thinking that they want to die, they can just accept I'm sad. Let's take care of it. Or even though, actually, for suicide, it's kind of hard. If you do the even though I want to die, I love and accept myself for suicide, it basically centers everything. Um, we've tried it on the Cuban mafia in response to them trying to get me to get my nails done, which are still not done. I gotta get my nails done, gotta get my nails done, gotta get my nails done. Anyway, whatever. So between yesterday and today, their new thing is this particular type of bread that is Colombian, but everybody in Miami eats it. It's called pan de bono. Since last night, I've been desperate to have pan de bono, desperate to have pan de bono, desperate. And then I finally went, wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. So they're doing the telegram thing again. They need to talk to me, or they need to see me, or they need for me to go someplace. And then they're there already. How could they be there already? How could they know that I was going to go there? Well, they put it in my head. Just giving you some of the nicer mind control techniques. Then I had something and I'm going to get to the map. Okay, I'm going to get to the map. Then I had something really interesting happen last night, and I was going, I don't think I should say this. I mean, I think I'm really pushing. I don't really want to get into trouble. I want to be able to keep talking. But there's been a lot of talk with alternative people having to do with spiritual things about this person, but I'll go into that in a minute. So last night I wake up and Alan Schiff is in my bedroom. He was not in my bedroom in his physical body. His spirit was in my bedroom. Let me show you. Give me a second. This is the part of him that was in my bedroom. See this gold body? That's your spirit. It's your astral body. His spirit was in my bedroom. He was in my bedroom for a long time, and he followed me around. What was he doing? Well, when you get a spirit visiting you at night, many times they want to have sex with you, or they're going to have sex with you. They put you into something called a hypnagogic state, to where you're kind of aware, but you can't move. A lot of people, unfortunately, will be familiar with that feeling. And a lot of times your pet will let you know before it happens. In this case, it was in the middle of the night. Alan Schiff was in my bedroom. He wasn't looking for sex. He was doing black magic on me, and he was giving other people's instructions to do black magic on me. Middle of the night makes sense, because that's when most of the black magic is done. The veils are thinner between the dimensions, plus your bodies are more separate. You're getting ready to astral travel, so you're not wrapped real tight. So everybody kind of who knows anything about magic and black magic knows that. So he was in my bedroom. Now, can I get in trouble by saying this? No, it was kind of like a dream state. I can say that, can I? Now, why was he in my bedroom? Now, that might be interesting to look into. Why was he doing black magic on me? Well, it was my dream state. It was just a dream. Oh, dreams are not real. Well, actually, in metaphysics, dreams are really powerful methods, and methods for getting information to you that you need. Or in your dream, things happen and you think it didn't happen because look, you're fine. But it's your spirit that I just showed you that's getting beaten up or that's getting us sexually assaulted. Did I think he was there to sexually assault me? I don't think so. He's got a reputation that, regardless of my age and how I look, we're not talking about that, talking about those kind of energies. No, 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 no. He had somebody next. He was very angry at me and threatening me. And then he had somebody there. He was giving them instructions to do this black magic. Well, you can do whatever you want with that piece of information. Wasn't that interesting? Because you do remember that a couple of months ago, I was in the middle of talking to you, and all of a sudden I went, honestly, I don't think I'd ever said his name before a couple of months ago. I've always looked at him and thought his face looks kind of weird. Something's going on there, but a lot of people's faces look weird. A couple of months ago, I'm in the middle of my little chat here with you, and I went, Adam Schaefer, what are you? I'm just, you're watching my podcast? Why are you watching my podcast? He was watching my podcast. It wasn't an underling of his that was watching and typing, which happens a lot here. We have actually several countries that follow us. Okay, da 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 da. It was him. So what did he think I was going to be saying? Certainly nothing about him at that point. So now it got a little bit interesting. He's visiting me at night. Why is he doing that? So then I'm on there. You know that I can't leave my house. Even to go get pan de bono, I can't leave my house. Get my nails done. Okay, good. So I'm going through my big screen TV with all the little tarot card ladies. And there's this one American woman, white. And I'm not going to give her name because I don't want anybody going after her. And she's talking about Adam Schiff. And she's talking about the thing that has always distressed me about him, but I never paid attention to before. Look at his face. And his face is different. His face is weird. But she went on about this whole cloning thing, which maybe it's stuff that I know and that I don't know that I know, but this whole cloning thing, and I don't know. But what she was talking about, and she was throwing tarot cards, whatever, and asking, was interesting because what they were talking about was the fact that he was gone and there was something else in his place. And I think that's what she calls cloning. But let me put up again the human assemblage of bodies. And you see this here? You have your physical body, your etheric, then you have the astral body, but your astral body can multiply many times. You can have three. If you're an alcoholic, you have at least two, your main one, and then the one that gets out of control when you drink. And then if you are a multiple personality, which the Mayans called subpersonalities, you have several. Autistic children have several astral bodies. So, in my opinion, from what it is that she was saying, is that his astral body, the one that he had originally, is gone, put away, put to sleep, gone. And there's another one in its place. She calls it a clone. I'm not exactly sure what it is that they call a clone, but certainly it can be another astral body, which would have separate intentions and separate instructions from other people or from addictions, whatever. And I found it fascinating because I had never seen anything about him. And all of a sudden, I've got him in my bedroom, and then I've got him, which what I think is something that God is putting in front of me for me to see, for me to look at, for me to understand, to support stuff that I kind of feel, but that I can't get support from normal, regular people because they don't have those experiences. And she was saying that there have been through the years many people that have had this. And I am saying that whether it's a clone or it's a multiple, a subpersonality, which is what the Mayans talk about, I think there's going to be more and more of that because that happens when you are incredibly stressed, incredibly stressed. And you just can't take it anymore. And there's a part of you that just kind of like fades out. And then you have another astral body that comes in and is able to pick up the baton and continue moving forward. Oh boy, that was not a burp. It was a very interesting bubble inside of my chest that just moved. I must have just said something really important. So I think it's important that people understand that we have an assemblage of bodies that I did not come up with. This has been thousands of years. It's just been known about, and we just know bits and pieces of it. And we need to know more. And it's not that difficult, but it is a terrible blow to our paradigm because we spend so much time on the physical dimension that when you find out that the other bodies are so much more important, it's kind of like, oh my God, where do we start? You know what? We have to start. And I hope that everything's okay with Adam Schiff. I don't know why he personally would have been looking at my podcast, unless he has something to do with something that I've been involved in. He did not look friendly when he was in my bedroom. He was very angry at me, threatening me, and also having the black magic done, which was pretty powerful to the point. And I was in my bed that my dog would not sleep in the bed. So I had to spend a lot of time this morning purifying, purifying, purifying to get the bed clean in the other dimensions. So, because you know that your pets let you know a lot of stuff and they take on a lot of stuff. So, hopefully, my head's not going to be cut off. If there are bad people out there that have some objection to what it is that I'm doing, it's because they're bad people. And Trump, you need to get on this. And honestly, everybody needs to get updated on what constitutes a human being. We don't even know what constitutes death. According when Anne Nicole, remember that beautiful woman? Did she kill herself? She was murdered. It was terrible. It was tragic. She looked so sweet. She was probably angelic consciousness. And they wanted to know how she died, so it must have been probably something that she took in, because if not, they wouldn't have done an autopsy within hours of her death. Meanwhile, people like me were cringing. She's not dead yet. She probably is going to stay in that condition that you call death. But in terms of these energy bodies, you don't really die for 72 hours. Your fingernails keep growing. You're not dead. So these are things that we need to know because they're important to all of us. And then you have all these people waking up in morgues. And then, of course, it's the doctor's fault. You know, we're blaming doctors for a lot of stuff that maybe isn't their fault. We need to get really, really, really updated. So now let's go into the maps because they're important. Let's go first into the map of the United States from several days ago. Here we go. This is really important. Those triangles, which is the Star of David, which is called, it's a talisman, the Star of David. It's a protection. It just means your energy bodies are totally aligned around the heart chakra. We have that. We have Florida looking good. This was the 21st, and today's 6 days ago. You have the pyramids in the Gulf of Mexico, and I am not going to change the name to the Gulf of America. Okay, the Gulf of Mexico. You have them coming up. Those offer stability, and which means more protection. And then you have love coming from the Gulf of Mexico. This is good. But what you have on the upper left hand of the United States is a black blob, literally a blob, like the movie The Blob. And like the movie The Blob, that was science fiction, it's not science fiction, it's real. It's called a miasm that's been known about for centuries. And I told you the last time, there's one on the highway between Caracas, Venezuela, and the airport, and it's killed 2,000 people. Just one highway. Now, that miasm, unfortunately, continues all the way up the coast, goes to Alaska, crosses the Bering Strait, and goes into Russia. And it is there because the etheric body of the planet, the one that's like a grid, was burnt by that darn HARP machine, HAARP, however it's spelled. That can take down the United States. Oh, look, California's in there. Oh, well. These are the type of things that when you have the information, you can work on them. Other than that, you're working on symptoms. Now, you can say, well, the fire is in California. Everybody is saying the same thing. It's energy directed weapons. Oh, yeah. And HARP was the one that created the miasm technology. The problem is that with that blob, we should get a better name, miasm. That's what it's called in metaphysics. It includes bad spirits. So if you find that 50 people set 50 different fires, or 6 technologically advanced people used energy directed weapons, you could still have the miasm be causal, because they would probably not have done that if they weren't living inside a blob that's invisible, but that includes bad spirits that want to kill people, such as the one that is in Venezuela, where the government has to they can't clean it. They clean it to the best of their ability, and it comes back, and this has been years. And the thing that controls it the most is limestone, which of course is the earth element. So that's the map from the 21st. So then I did a map today, which is this map. And we have something that we shouldn't be surprised at. We have rage splitting the USA. Oh, those X's are black magic. Oh, darn. It's not a line, it's X's. Okay. Now, see, there's good energy in the New York, Washington area. I guess the earthquake was further up from that, but the earthquake could be from one single person, which is what the one last year was. It was one individual whose name I don't remember, but if I said it, you'd go, oh, yeah, yeah. Of course, everybody knows that name who follows any politics. And then if I told you what happened in court, you would go, oh, yeah, that would have been like, oh, wow. Okay. You still have the pyramids here in the Gulf of Mexico. Florida looks really good. And then at the top, and again, I do not decide what I'm going to put on these maps. I don't even decide the colors. When I reach for where all the coloring pens are, my intuition has me pulling pens. I'm really happy when I have to pull green, not happy when I have to pull red at all. And black is okay, but the green, I love. The red, worrisome. So at the top, it says mind control issues. Black magic is mind control. Oh, another piece of gossip. I have a friend who's going through a separation. This is a friend who was separated from a lot of people that he loved a lot years ago because there was a female that wanted him. She did so much black magic on him. She and 2 more generations Her mother and grandmother did so much black magic on him. He basically was living in a panic attack until he finally acceded to get married and did. It has been said that he's trying to get out of that. Now, this is what, I don't know, 10 years later? And guess what? I bet you anything that female is going to take him for everything he's got. And she's doing a ton of black magic. I'm getting a little bit tired of this. Mind control is black magic. Black magic is mind control. When are we going to know enough about it to go after these people that do this? When? Whenever you do that, we do that as a society, we are going to have, let's start with the fact that we're going to have less autistic kids. So when I studied 50 or 60 autistic kids in the 90s, and that's how I got in on TV. Okay, and they did all the interviews about my work with children, and the most shocking was my work with autism. I pulled 5 kids out of autism. I do not take care of autism today. Do not contact me. I do. It's different today. This was 30 years ago. But when I collected all the files, 10% of the kids, causal was their family was into religions that are into what we as an outsider considers black magic, or considers magic that's, I consider dark if you're going to start killing animals. You know what? And they correct me as much as they want. I can have my opinion. That's dark. I love animals. Why would you do that? It's been done throughout history. I know that. Okay, I know that. I'm aware. So 10% of the kids were autistic due to black magic. I wasn't even looking for that. I didn't really know anything about black magic 30 years ago. I know a lot now because I made it my business, because my big clients all had black magic. What the heck is this? Which is what I said. I don't even believe in this, and I'm sketching it, and I don't make up stories. And my training is, which is interesting, when I do remote viewing, I was not allowed to influence what I was doing. My culture, my religion, my beliefs, my emotions could not get involved. I had to simply get the information psychically or sketch it or whatever, and it could, whatever had to do with me, could not be any place near it. So I have sketched things that I don't even believe in. And that in the 90s, it was the whole black magic thing. Come on, black magic, it only, if it affects anybody, it's because that person believes in it. That's not true. So the mind control is an extension of that, except now they know how to do it technologically. They call it remote influence. Isn't that elegant? I am told that in the program, they particularly target children in families that are indigenous or Hispanic, whose families are into the Santeria and the magic stuff. The person who told me that did not tell me whether they did that. The indigenous, I understand, because they're so connected to nature, they're much more psychic. And certainly the people whose families are into the black magic, the children's minds would be more susceptible, they'd be more broken. Okay, so, and you know what? If your opinion is different than this, okay, no problem. I've been doing this for years. I have a soft spot for kids and I have a soft spot for animals. And if that's your choice and you have the right to continue to do it, I think it's even protected. But that does not mean I'm not going to give my opinion. Okay, so sorry. And I know a percentage of my followers are into that. And I keep telling them, you're reducing your frequency. You want the ascension process? And then you're into this? You really think this is going to help you in your ascension process? Forget whether you think it's good or it's bad. It's not a judgment issue. It's what is your goal? What are your intentions? So I think that having to do with this miasm, one of my followers said, okay, Francis, let's get this taken care of. We're talking about a third of the United States, a big part of Canada, Alaska, Bering Strait, and part of Russia. I don't think so. We don't have enough people in my group. We have a lot of people for what we do and whatever. But I do believe that Trump, I'm talking to you, we are entering the age of Aquarius. We're in a paradigm shift. We're becoming much more spiritual. We have access to human superpowers, which have always existed, but if they kind of go to sleep and then they wake up again, depending upon what age we're in. I think it's time that we start to apply all of this that I learned in this god awful conditions, but that a lot of people learned naturally and a lot of people want, which is the spiritual aspect of life, which really only means the other dimensions. Because you can be spiritual and ill intended. Magic, that's I was born to teach magic, not black magic. But where did I learn practically everything that I know about the creation of reality to take it to the level of magic, which they call miracles, when you're not in control and you think that just God did it? I learned it by viewing all the stuff that was done to my clients, to myself, to my family, to my followers. And I remember that after 3 or 4 years, I said, wow, these guys, the black magic practitioner, they know a lot about creating reality. They can take a person and they can completely turn their life upside down. And the person doesn't even know what happened to them. So, Trump, this process of making this nation a nation that also covers the spiritual aspect of life, mainly driven there by the same thing that drove me, which is the black magic. Let's get this taken care of. But then the creation of good stuff. And because we're in this arena of, in this time of this cycle, a change of a cycle. And supposedly, eventually, we lose the physical body and we're only left with that astral body. So, and that astral body is kind of confused. Um, Let me put something else up here. Here we got it. So, this is two people talking to each other, facing each other. So, you got the two physical bodies. Both of them have, of course, the etheric body, which is the one that's electrical and it supports, it's the matrix from which the physical body is formed. And then you've got the astral body, which is your spirit. So, you can be talking to a person. Okay, let's say I'm the person on the right. Let's say I'm laying in my bed at night and I'm the person on the right. Somebody can send their gold astral body to visit me. Meanwhile, their physical body is laying in bed. So if you put the really bad guys that know about mind control in jail, you have still not resolved the issue. Because I believe that my handler, which you don't hear me talk about him very much, because I think he's either on the run or he's been on jail for a little while. I think they let him out. I'm not exactly sure, but he's not as footloose, as fancy free as he was physically. But he is still, well, that's not true. I would say until about a week or a half ago, he was still totally operational in terms of his spirit, in terms of doing damage to me, and I'm sure other people. So you can't just put, when you uncover this, all this mind control stuff, you cannot just assume because you have the guy under house arrest or you have them in waiting trial under house arrest or even in jail, you have not tackled the real issue because you don't know anything about the other parts of that person. And there can be 10 parts of them. So I think we need to hurry on in terms of all of this. But let me give you some good news. Okay? We work a lot with Venezuela. Venezuela did have the ascension process. Venezuela got the Galactic Federation, which you see as the Star of David, which is considered a talisman, but it is a spaceship on top of Venezuela. And then about a week ago, I sketched good energy in the upper left-hand corner and then at the bottom. And then a couple days later, it turned out that the thing with Colombia was happening exactly where it is that I sketched the good spiraling energy. So I sketched good spiraling energy, and then they have this huge crisis in Colombia and Venezuela on the border, which US military, do not use that as an excuse to invade. Okay. It's going to really upset me and a lot of other people. Maybe the Galactic Federation is going to get upset too. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, I know the bad habits have a hard time. What it is, hard to get rid of a bad habit. So then today I sketched Venezuela because I'm going to do a chat, and the two places that I had sketched were having a healing. Ended up being two places where there were military issues. The one at the bottom, they're doing military training exercises according to the dictator that hasn't left yet. I sketched a healing, and then right after that, there was bad energy. What I was sketching a healing in the other dimensions, the bad energy was already there, but I had not identified it. When I sketched today, I get another spaceship on top of both those areas. What does that mean? Well, let's start with the fact that it's great news for the United States because we have the Galactic Federation on top of the United States. Since last week, I don't have the sketch. Oh, yes, I do. Look, I do have it. January the 15th, Trump won. I know he won from before then, but anyway, I only put the words in the stuff that I am guided to put, and the Galactic Federation came in. So, what does this mean? What am I talking about? It means that the same as with Venezuela, where there are issues, okay, and there are issues on the physical dimension, they have sent a smaller spaceship there to stabilize the area. Now, why aren't they stabilizing the miasm? I don't know. Maybe I'll try and sketch that tomorrow. But that's really good news. That really means that we are resonating, or our frequency is the kind that the people, Galactic Federation, that supervise this area of the galaxy, this zip code of the galaxy. I don't think it's the whole galaxy. I don't know. Let's say this zip code, this particular zip code that we're in, they're giving a protection. And then they're, from what I can see with Venezuela, they're protecting specific areas that got really hot, which could create issues. So this is really, really good news. For those of you that are still struggling, do ETs exist? Is it possible? Do they have retrieved bodies? Do they have retrieved spaceships? Do they have any of their technology? Notice how I'm doing this with my nose. Those are spirits. Yeah, they come into this area that don't like what I'm saying. So all of a sudden, my nose gets itchy. I had one of my followers ask me whether that noise that I make when I start my chats in Spanish, was there any significance to that? The only significance is that I'm fine and don't need a Kleenex until I start these chats. Something starts to happen in this area that is not positive. And she was trying to be very refined and asking me, as if it was a metaphysical technique. No, I am under an attack. Okay. Well, that's why. And I'm wondering about that poor lady that's from Europe. I don't know what she's the president of a country. I have no idea. And she's always going like this. She is really blocked. Anyway, I'm not getting blocked, but there is a battle going on. And this part of us from here to here has to do with saying the truth. So I'm saying the truth and they don't like it, whoever they are. But anyway, if you're still struggling, do aliens exist? Oh my God, this is not the podcast for you. Francis Fox News for Other Dimensions. It doesn't work. You're getting left behind. Okay. Interesting times. Let's go ahead and do 5 minutes of mantras. I think And I did not find the map where it says that there's a massive depression falling on the country, and of course, all the people that have to go back to work physically, and all the illegal aliens. And I told you about the massive panic attacks in the United States years ago. It would have been another 25 years ago when there was issues with immigration. La migra, that's what they call it, the illegals, la migra. Um, and the housekeepers and the people that worked in the lower level jobs, everybody was in a panic. They weren't going out. I remember it was a whole weekend that they weren't going out, whatever. And the people that they were near, the people that hired her, them, not her, it was a her that I was working with, and then I sketched a much bigger area. They were feeling the panic attacks. That's actually what I was being asked about. Why was this particular person or family, I don't remember which of the two, were having panic attacks? And it was from the nanny. And then that took me to wider lens. It was a ton of people. We got to deal with that depression. And there we go. We have to have a department, not of depression, but a department. Metaphysics is the study of first cause. Um, so I'm not exactly sure what it would be called. And the religious people honestly cannot complain because they really have zero answers today to what it is that's going on. So if they have the answers, we wouldn't need to go someplace else. But they don't have it because this is a different era. So let's go ahead and do a mantra of and you have to include in the mantras now the word create, because we did a frequency shift. We are now not needing to spend as much time as purifying. We need to spend more time in creation. So give me a second because it takes me a little bit longer to get. Okay, maybe I didn't make any spelling mistakes, and if I did, well, we just have to deal with it. Please, God, help us with our intention to create emotional stability in the midst of chaos. We are in the midst of chaos. This is a huge transition. So the mantras are repeated silently in the head. You expel the breath through your mouth very gently. And if you want, you can do the Apana Mudra and put the outside of your hands on top of your thighs. And let's get some subconscious music. We're talking so much about mind control. Adam Schiff, don't visit me again, okay? Please. No. This is just in case he's listening again. more relaxed, feel better. See how my voice is softer? So, for those of you that would like to know where your frequency is at, I should have put the white dress before and then put it after, but right now, I'm going to put in that famous controversial white dress. It's one picture, I've been using the picture for years. You will know what your frequency is depending upon the colors that you see in the dress. Okay, so here's the dress. And if you see it gold and white, your frequency is good. So your ascension process is going to be good. You're going to have more superpowers. You're going to be happier. Uh, that ascension process, when you raise your vibration, your frequency, you can see the gold. When your frequency is lower, the gold is there, but you don't see it. So this looks good to me. There's also a lot of pink, like a pink veneer. And I always see a little bit of black or dark blue at the bottom. If you're seeing it blue and bronze, your frequency is low. That means that if there was a pile of gold in front of you, literally, physically, because this is a physical picture, you would not see it. And I think that for most people whose frequency is low, they're not dealing with their repressed frustration, their repressed anger, which would have been what would have caused that earthquake today. I'm not sure there's any exceptions to that. So we will be back tomorrow and we'll give you another update about what's happening in my bedroom at night, which for those that are looking for sexual stuff, no, no, but very interesting metaphysical stuff. A lot happens at night, and everybody needs to know that. You really have to go to sleep protected. You have to be more protected at night. This is labradite, which is the most protective stone. It's the heaviest. It's not an expensive stone. Um, and so you can make little pillows out of cotton socks. You fill it with Himalaya salt or some other marine salt. The best salt would be the Alea, Alealea salt, which is from the base of a volcano in Hawaii. It's considered a sacred salt and it's tremendous protection. Anyway, you make these little pillows in those little socks and then you sleep with them, especially the left side of your head, which is where most of the invasions are, and they're mainly at night. Okay? So we'll be back with a new map. And I understand Trump was in town, I think today or was it yesterday, and he did not stop by for coffee, but that's probably kind of good. Because actually, I don't have food because I can't go to the supermarket. So, what can I tell you? Thank you for listening. Bye.